What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to the Anfield Agenda match reaction panel show. I am joined by two far better looking gentlemen than me, it has to be said. Far more hair than me as well. First of all, welcome back to Mr. Jack Gill. Jack, how are you, sir?
I'm not too bad, thanks, mate. It's nice, isn't it? 2 games left of the Champions League to know that you're in the hat already for the knockout stages. We saw today, I'm sure we're going to dissect a bit more, but we saw with the Firmino injury, our injuries are racking up now, and to know that, we're 4 games into this group stage of the Champions League. We were meant to be in the so-called group of death, but we can now afford to play around with the team for the last 2 games and rest some key players at a key stage of the season.
Absolutely, and I'm also joined by Mr. Chris Stonage from LFE Transfer Room. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm good. It's been good vibes today. It's been a busy day. But yeah, it capped off in the most beautiful fashion. Liverpool coasting past Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. I mean, I can't have any more words than to say it was just beautiful. And I'm in a very good mood and very excited to talk about it.
Nice. And look, we're spoiled as well because there's loads of contentious refereeing decisions, and I've got not one, but 2 qualified referees to bitch at today. Chris, I just want to point out really quickly, a lot of people won't know this, but you are now officially banned from Anfield, mate. From us, not by the club. We've banned you because you're a jinx.
I've been fully banned. I am actually going to the Arsenal game, so, you know.
Oh, mate, I don't know about that, Chris. I don't know about
that. My 2 games that I've been... the 3 games I've been to Anfield, it's only 1 win and 2 draws. It's not a great record, to be honest. The win against Burnley, the 2 draws against Man City and Brighton, and yeah, it was a little bit of a shitter on the weekend, unfortunately, especially with the traffic. I don't know if any of you guys know the M5, but some guy decided to crash his light and spill oil, which had us there. We only just got in for You'll Never Walk Alone, but yeah, I was nearly banned from Anfield by the motorway.
There you go. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we are being brought to you today with thanks to our friends at manscaped.com. You can get 20% off and free shipping using our discount code WFM20. Right, look, gents, I want to get straight into it. Jack, let's talk team selection. I looked during the week at this game, and the only one that I didn't actually call was Fabinho to come in. But when you looked at the team sheet, mate, any surprises there that stood out for you?
No surprises. I think Ian Doyle confirmed yesterday that either Thiago or Fabinho would start. I think it made sense to slot Fabinho back into that midfield. There was a moment in the first half as well where he clattered Suarez. It was just beautiful. Won the throw-in from it as well. I've missed him. I really have in the last couple of games. I think Fabinho's had a brilliant season. Obviously, it started in a really unfortunate manner with the loss of his father, but since then I think he's been faultless, really. And he's a player we missed against Brighton, a player that I thought we'd miss against United, but they're shite, so it didn't matter.
5-0, Jack, by the way, just in case you weren't sure.
So yeah, for me, no real surprises. I thought Firmino would start today, but we know Klopp likes to chop and change in that attack line. So yeah, I wasn't surprised by anything, and yeah, it was the perfect team selection from Jurgen Klopp. And I just want to say, Craig, as well, it was another game where we started really rampantly, really come out really fast and scored 2 early goals again, and we saw us do that away from home at the Mundo, of course, but we did it again tonight. We did it against Brighton. We did it against United too. 4-0 up at half time. So it's clearly something that Liverpool are showing this season. We're starting things fast, and hopefully it keeps going like that.
Most important thing as well, it was unlike those other games, we kept a clean sheet, which is absolutely fantastic tonight. And Chris, for me, I think the gaffer's a bit of a headache at left back now. And I mean that in a good way, because Kostas Tsimikas, I mean, even calling him a left back tonight was probably pushing it, because at one stage there, he was nearly the highest player up the pitch for Liverpool. And it was very noticeable for me early on that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was clearly told to go in and cover on that left-hand side for him. But your thoughts on Kostas today? Does he give the gaffer a headache ahead of the West Ham game?
100%. I know, Jurgen trusts his loyalties, and he trusted Alberto Moreno before Andy Robertson came in. He will trust Andy Robertson in the games against West Ham. I think he will play a game against West Ham, but I think Tsimikas giving him that competition can't hurt. And he has played better than him this season. We can't shy away from that. He's been excellent every single time he's played, apart from maybe Preston. But, we won that game and that's about it. Nothing else happened. But yeah, Andy Robertson has only had James Milner and Moreno to bat off. So now to have a very, very good quality left back is only positive.
I mean, one thing that stands out about Costas maybe give him the little lead over Andy Robertson is just his crossing is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, gents. And look, we can't talk fullbacks, Jack, without talking about the man on the other side. Anfield agenda, man of the match, Trent Alexander-Arnold. What distribution again, mate. That ball in for the first goal was perfection.
Yeah, the man's just phenomenal. The first goal, the delivery for that first goal was truly special. If you're Diogo Jota in that situation, you are rubbing your hands together, seeing that ball come in the way it did. All you need to do there is just get on the end of it, and that ball is going in the back of the net. You got Jan Oblak, one other than Alisson, probably the best goalkeeper in world football between the sticks. But there's nothing you can do when you have a delivery.
I just say Cal the Dragon would have something to say about that, but
but you've got. Honestly, all the Atletico defense and the defensive structure of Madrid, but they could just stand and watch and admire that ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold, because it was a special ball from a special player. And I thought both our fullbacks were key to the performance tonight. Kostas Simic, world class. We're once again another fantastic performance. Like you both said, he's really putting pressure on Andy Robertson, who, for many years we've praised as one of the best left backs in the world. But now we're very lucky to have, not one but two incredible left backs at our disposal. I think that there isn't many Premier League clubs that Tsimikas doesn't start for. I think he's a tremendous left back with a tremendous crossing ability, but. I think he's just unfortunate that he's competing with Andy Robertson, who probably is the best in world football.
Yeah, it's a great headache, though, for the gaffer to have. And for Kostas Tsimikas to take these opportunities, you've got to commend him massively, because he hasn't really put a foot wrong. And it is indeed a fine battle there at left back. And we shall see what way the manager goes at the weekend. Chris, loads of refereeing incidents to go through in this game, mate. Yeah. But before we go to any specifics of both you gents, I think the ref lost his head today. I have to say, I thought at first he went out with an attitude of, I'm not going to let the Anfield atmosphere intimidate me. And I think if you're assessing that as a referee's assessor, it's one of those examples of not letting decisions snowball. And to me, I think the referee, he bottled it, mate, if I'm being honest with you. And I think he was awful.
Oh, I don't think I agree with you, Craig. It's great to have contrasting opinion. I don't think I agree. By the letter of the law, I think he did exactly the right thing in exactly the right moments, especially the red card. Yellow card was given.
Especially, you're doubling down on it. Especially the red.
Especially the red card. I mean, I think it hinges on whether it's a straight red or whether it's two yellows. Because if it's two yellows, it's the right decision for me.
Well, the UEFA have come out and said there was no dissent. It was purely because of the tackle. That's from UEFA.
Okay, I completely changed my opinion. It's wrong. It's a wrong decision. He lost his head there. No, I think he did the right thing. That is how you deal with Atletico Madrid. The referee gets harassed a lot from teams that come over, especially to Anfield, and even our players got some of it today. I think the referee has to assert some form of authority. Maybe he did it a little bit too much, and maybe he came out thinking it was the I can't remember what his name was now. Show. But yeah, I don't think he was that bad. I think by the letter of the law, he did things right. But the red card, clearly, if it's not for the dissent, then it's a red card. It's not a red card in a million years.
I disagree.
By the letter of the law, how does Sadio Mane get booked for getting fouled? By the letter of the law, he got fouled and got a yellow.
It's mental. I thought that was for dissent. Personally, I don't even know what happened in that one.
Jack, you wanted to come in, mate?
Yeah, I disagree. I think that's a red card. I can understand why a lot of people at face value would see it as a yellow, but there's no attempt to play the ball. No attempt at all. It's a nasty challenge. He gets his studs and digs them right in the back of Mane's Achilles. And there's no attempt for him to play the ball. He is literally just looking at
I thought
Mane.
he clipped his ankle, personally. I
No.
thought he clipped his ankle.
I think you're right. I do. I saw at first. I thought, it's a bit harsh. I assumed it was for the descent as well. But when you watch it and it's slowed down, it does look incredibly nasty. It does look like dangerous play. So yeah, I can understand. I think it's one of them where, a lot of people like to call it. It's really cliche, but a lot of people like to call it an orange card, don't they? Where it's one of them kind of challenges. But for the Mane booking as well. It's one of them. He's been booked for his reaction. He stood up and given Atletico Madrid exactly what they want, and he's reacted to the challenge. And once you do that, Madrid players jump on it. Hence all the diving around afterwards. And Mane was in a similar situation in the first leg too. He had to be withdrawn early on in the first leg because of exactly the same circumstance. So. I think the withdrawal of him at half time and bringing Firmino on was quite an easy one to read, to be honest with you, because I think the balance of the game, you just know how Madrid are going to react to going down to 10 men, and that would be to target Sadio Mane, because he'd already given them one bite in both games. So, yeah, I think it was clever substitutions from Klopp this evening. I think the Thiago Fabinho one was perfect. I thought Minamino looked good when he came on as well. But I also want to talk about Ox, both of you. I wasn't too impressed with him at the weekend. I thought, other than that assist, he was pretty poor. But in the first leg against Madrid, I praised him. I thought he was brilliant when he came off the bench for them last 10 minutes. And tonight, I thought he had another fantastic game. I thought he pressed Atletico really, really well. He dug deep. He was brave. There was lots of energy in there. And like you said, Craig, he did his defensive work really well as well tonight. And I was really impressed with Oxlade-Chamberlain, and fair play, because I think he took a lot of stick after the weekend's performance.
He looked jaded after the weekend to me. And look, I have to put my hands up. I have to be in the right. I gave him a score of 6 out of 10 in my match reaction. I didn't think he was as involved in the game, but I clearly wasn't seeing what everybody else was seeing, because Jack and a lot of the people in the chat were rightly praising him. So, I get things wrong as well. No problem admitting it when I do. But the world's biggest Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain fan is sitting there at the bottom of the screen there now. And Chris, you must be happy.
Oh, Jack, you can come on every week. Oh, this is brilliant. I love this. Oxlade-Chamberlain chat, positivity. Mate, I'm going to sound like Gary Neville after Torres scored that if you carry on, so you might have to stop me. It's brilliant to see, isn't it? I mean, people were writing him off. It's a shame that he went off injured. I think he was okay, though. He was running around fine. But yeah, it's just brilliant to see. I think people are starting to finally come to light to realise that Oxlade-Chamberlain is not finished. He's got plenty to go yet.
I think the difficulty is on Oxlade-Chamberlain. All us Liverpool fans know he's got performances in him like he did tonight. We just don't see it enough on a consistent basis, and there's numerous reasons for that. It's the injuries. We saw again tonight. I don't think it was of his fault. Him, like many other players tonight, were absolutely battered by some Madrid challenges. And there's just general consistency. There's the fact that the minutes he doesn't really get regular minutes. It's minutes here, minutes there. So when he is asked to play, game after game, he struggles there. But tonight is one of those performances where you come away and Klopp will be saying to Ox, I want you to perform like that next time you get on the pitch. Because, yeah, we want to see more of that Oxlade-Chamberlain more often. That's the form he had when he first came to this football club. That's the form we've not seen from Ox for a long, long time. So he had a good pre-season. This year it's been very hit and miss from Oxlade-Chamberlain. Hopefully now he digs deep and he can get more performances like that out of him.
So are we saying that probably a Fabinho, Henderson, Oxlade-Chamberlain midfield at West Ham, or do you think Thiago comes in?
I think Thiago comes in. I think Ox may not be fit. It depends what his injury is, whether he's able to play. But I think that's the most likely.
Keeping him fit for when the lads are at the AFCON as well will probably be priority number one for Jurgen Klopp to make sure that he has options there. On Thiago, Chris, we did see him get introduced there for the last 20 and do Thiago things.
Oh, mate. It's just like you walk. It's like butter on toast, and it just melts, and it's just so lovely to bite into. And that's the Thiago pass. It is like he has the vision of. I've never seen anything like it at Liverpool. The only thing I can even compare it to is Xabi Alonso, but even then, I think Thiago's passing range is so instinctive and so crisp. It's just amazing to see him back. He is a massive asset. Especially in games like this where we need to keep the ball. He rotates, he dribbles past players. He can even fire off a shot as well. He didn't tonight. He's a big asset for us going into the Christmas period, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, is it fair to say, Jack, we need to manage Thiago through the season because we are going to need him, mate, when it comes to the knockout stages, when it comes to the latter part of the Premier League campaign, and of course over the busy festive period as well. But is he perhaps, Jack, now a big game player for Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah, I think he is. We saw how pivotal he was at the end of last season for Liverpool. He was magnificent in those final 10 games of the season. He was, he played a big part in us getting Champions League football in the end. That looked when he finally started to settle into English football this season. I thought he started a bit shaky, but then he started to get in his groove, get in the rhythm. And then obviously he picked up his injury again. So yeah, I think it's important. We saw tonight, like Chris says there, I thought there were some brilliant moments from him. There's some moments where, it's dick in hand stuff from Thiago, and you see some incredible passes from him. But, there's
I'm
others.
starting to get concerned that might be Chris right now. Some of these passes that he's pulling.
Mate, my hand's on the camera. Don't.
But there was a couple of shaky moments from him tonight as well. He nearly gifted Atletico Madrid with a goal.
Yeah, he brushed off too easy.
Yeah, luckily we got away with that. But that's what can happen with Thiago when he needs time to get back in his rhythm. And I think Klopp managing his games now is important. But with that being said, we can't really afford to manage his games with our current midfield crisis. So it's going to be interesting. I think he gets thrown straight in at the weekend. Fabinho too. And yeah, it's about trying to manage this midfield. We saw Minamino come on in midfield tonight. He could start against West Ham in midfield. That'll be interesting. I would have suggested, I suggested in our group chat the other day, didn't I, potentially starting to play a 4-2-3-1 again and putting in Firmino, Jota, Mane and Salah. But obviously with Firmino's injury, we can't do that now. So yeah, going to be interesting, that West Ham team at the weekend. But like you said in I think it was on Monday, Craig, I think that West Ham game is so crucial, so important. And even at the start of tonight's game, one of my eyes was already focusing on that West Ham game at the weekend, because that's a big one.
We rightly lauded Thiago's passing today, gents, but can we just take a second to speak about Joe Matip's pass into Diogo Jota for the goal that was ruled out? Oh, I was so upset, Chris, because it was beautiful, man. Anybody, Alonso, Gerrard, anybody would have been proud of that pass.
Hell of a ball, wasn't it? And it sort of seemed to come out of nothing. I was doing the watch along and I was just sort of sitting there, just seeing Joel Matip strolling forward as you do. And then all of a sudden, Jota scored. And I'm just like, how on earth has that happened? And it's come from this absolutely perfect pinpoint ball. He has that in his locker. He always constantly seems to produce something from centre back, which is crazy. Him and Virgil today were all were creatives as well as rock solid centre halves. So yeah, Joel Matip, what a pass, what a play. I hope that goes on No Context Matip later.
Oh, it sure did. It was an unbelievable pass. And look, very unfortunate it was offside, but it was offside. Correct decision. And again, it was nice, Jack, to see Luis Suarez goal getting ruled out. I won't lie, it did make me smile.
Yeah, it did. The Luis Suarez thing's mad, isn't it? He gave us so many that season, just phenomenal. And there's every Liverpool fan, all over the place will tell you how much they absolutely adore Luis Suarez in a Liverpool shirt. But he's one of those players that you love him when he plays for you, but he's an absolute rat when he plays against you. And it's just, we saw when we played Barcelona the year we won it a couple of years back. He didn't care that he used to play for us. He was throwing himself about. He was having altercations with Robbo and some of the other lads. And he got a bit of a hostile reception again this evening, didn't he? And he hated it. He hated every minute of it. Picked up a booking for dissent, was dragged off the pitch early, had a goal ruled out. He just doesn't like coming back to Anfield in a different coloured shirt, Craig. That's all.
Good. He should like coming back. It was great to see. And look, it takes a lot to wind up the Liverpool fan base, because Adam Lallana comes back with that Brighton team, got a standing ovation when he went off the pitch for the great service he gave and the way he conducts himself as a person as well. But Chris, I think it's fair to say Jurgen Klopp will be sitting there tonight, feet up, looking at the Champions League group stage. And I think I like to believe and like to think that he hopes that Atletico drop into the Europa League, mate. Am I being too petty?
Schadenfreude is a dish best served cold, isn't it? And I love it. It'd be great to see Atletico go into the Europa League. I think they'll probably go on and win it. If they go into it like with United, for example, that'd be great. Imagine that. It's just perfection, isn't it? 5-0, by the way. But yeah, I think now.
Could you say that again, Chris? I didn't quite hear you there.
5-0, by the way, Craig.
Yeah. But yeah, I think he can now go into these last two group games. We're top of the group. We've qualified. He can go out and play not the League Cup team, but an amalgamation of it. Maybe introduce some youngsters to Champions League football, whilst gaining some valuable minutes for AFCON. I think that's a very, very important point to make. Is that these two games now can be used like League Cup games for the likes of Minamino and Origi. And I think they both impressed when they came on today, by the way, especially Minamino, as Jack mentioned.
Do you know what as well that I thought that going through this early gives us an opportunity to go for the Carabao Cup more, because we can play our teams that we usually play in the Carabao Cup in these last two Champions League games. It's job done. We've finished top of the group. So, yeah, do that. We don't have to play Atletico again. So if we lose to Porto, we're only helping them out. So, yeah, for me, I think play the Carabao Cup side in those two games. Play a bit of a stronger side against Leicester in the Carabao Cup and try and win some silverware early on this season, because this Liverpool's team this season, we deserve silverware. We've started the season really, really well. The league's going to be incredibly difficult this year. We've seen how strong Chelsea are. City have had a couple of defeats, but we saw when we played them that they're a strong side as well. Champions League, I think we can really go for that this year. But, Pep Guardiola often says, doesn't he, how important it can be to win the Carabao Cup early on in the season, because it gives you a big boost. And I just think, we get to February, we have Mane and Salah coming back from the AFCON. We play in that Carabao Cup final and win it. It would give us a huge boost for what could be the real business end of the season, and it could be the perfect thing for us.
I never actually thought of that, Jack, but you're absolutely spot on. I mean, it's rather unusual for us at the minute, Chris, to be through this early in the Champions League. I mean, our away form has been pants in recent years in the Champions League, but 10 million in prize money here from the 4 wins that we've gotten in the bank as well, and through top of the group, mate, with 4 games played. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree that we should go all out for the Carabao Cup, but I still don't think we will. I just got a feeling I don't think we will, because as you briefly touched on there, Craig, you can get another 5 million from prize money in the next 2 Champions League games. I think we might actually go more for those two than maybe the Carabao Cup is £100,000 we get. I just got a feeling. I know what Liverpool are like. We obviously played like that Jota in the Michelin game, which a lot of people thought was a meaningless game. But then as soon as it comes out about this prize money stuff, it's not a meaningless game, because that's a lot of money. And yeah, I don't know. I hope we go all out for the Carabao Cup. But I hope we do, but I don't know if we will.
Surely, though, if we get past Leicester in the quarterfinal, you're looking at a 2-legged semi there in January, of course, but you want to go for it then at that point. I think if we got to a semi, my thought would be hopefully, get a great result in the first game, Jack, and maybe be able to play some players in some, Tyler Morton's or Kate Gordon's, or maybe rotate a little bit for the semi-final second leg.
Yeah, we have Leicester, obviously. Leicester, very strong side. Been a bit hit and miss this season, but we know Brendan Rodgers is a great coach, and he's doing a decent job there. They're going to put a strong side out. He'd like to get silverware. They won the FA Cup. Was it last year or the year before they won the FA Cup? And he'll want to build on that, especially with how they've started in the league this season. So it's going to be difficult. I think we're going to have to go into that game with a slightly stronger starting 11 than we have played the first two games against both Norwich and Preston. But we can still afford to give game time to the Origis and Minaminos in that game as well, I believe. The Tyler Morton shout for the Champions League, I think he absolutely deserves at least some game time in the Champions League in these last two games, particularly, considering our midfield injuries so far this season. So yeah, I really hope. I thought at some point we might see him tonight, particularly when Ox went down injured, but he went for Minamino instead. But yeah, he looks like a real talent, Tyler Morton, and he will absolutely deserve minutes in the Champions League if Klopp grants him with it.
I was thinking of you the other day, Jack. I seen a stat actually that there was 32 scouts apparently watching Dixon Bonner and Cumedio in one of our games recently. 32 scouts there to watch the lads. It just goes to show you the caliber of players we have.
Cumetio is top class. He really is. I think he was very unlucky because obviously there was that pre-season camp in Evian where he really impressed Jurgen Klopp and his coaching staff. Then he picked up an injury. There was loads of pressure for when we had our centre-back crisis to play Billy Cumetio. But he got rushed back to fitness, really, and he was never really back in a rhythm, and by the point where he was ready to be with the first team again, Reece Williams and Nat Phillips had already gone above him in the pecking order by that point. So, yeah, but I've been down to the academy, as you know, Craig, a lot, and watched Billy Cumetio a lot, and he looks like a fantastic young lad. He really, really does. One where he's got a lot to learn, but you can see he's got the ability to learn it all, and I'm not surprised that there's many football clubs watching him because he does look like he's going to be a real talent.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the next stage of his development is, whether it be a loan perhaps, or whether Jurgen Klopp starts to integrate him into the first team. One thing, gents, I wanted to touch on before we finished up, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but are we not ruthless enough? We had an entire second half today again against 10 men. We didn't capitalise on it. Against Manchester United, when they went down to 10 men, we were already 5-0 up. We didn't capitalise on it. And I don't believe I'm saying it. I feel it's harsh saying it, but I felt like United were there and Atleti were there tonight to really put to the sword and make an even bigger statement. And I said to you guys when we first came on, it kind of feels a little bit anticlimactical. Finishing that game at 2-0, I think we should have 4 or 5-0 battered them.
I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, logically, I mean, yes, we should have done. I mean, Chelsea were another one after they went down to 10 men. We just didn't really. That was a completely different one. Whereas the last two against United and Atletico, I don't think we've really given as much. I think it's been more about energy conservation. I think we're thinking about maybe West Ham for the United one. We were thinking about the game after that. So, look, I don't know. It sort of feels like I'm a spoiled kid almost. Like, why aren't we scoring more goals? But we're winning games. Like, I don't know. I'm happy with winning 2-0 and taking the piss out of them for half an hour. Really, I'll take that every day of the week.
I'm royally pissed off, mate. I'm after that 6-0, and it's just never going to come off when we're playing like this. No,
imagine I had it came off at Old Trafford though. Like that was the one.
200 quid would have been mine. But no, for me, I think it's one of I completely agree with Chris, but I think 2-0 is such a dangerous scoreline. And we saw even against AC Milan in the first group stage game, we started really, really well, only scored one, don't know how we didn't score more, all of a sudden ended up 2-1 down, and you know how quickly these games can turn. And we saw with that opportunity where they burst through, Thiago was caught in possession, they could have got back in the game then, and it does make you think. You get that third goal, against 10 men, it pretty much kills the game. But at 2-0, it's always a dangerous scoreline. And luckily, we've come away scot-free. We've got a clean sheet. We've got 3 points, so it no longer matters. But we have got to get better at that, I feel, Craig. We have got to get better at, making sure these games are completely won and taking advantage of our opportunities, because there was so many opportunities we missed tonight. I mean, there was a Jota header that actually came off his shoulder. Matip had a really, really good chance that he should have got on target. I do feel like we should have got a third.
Yeah, look, there's a comment here that says, Jesus, you fans are spoiled. It's not that we're spoiled. It's just the opportunities were there. And look, I get it. I absolutely understand people talking about game management, squad management. And I understand that a lot more tonight, I have to say, than I did against United at Old Trafford, because I really felt we could have put them to the sword in a huge, huge way, even more so than the 5-0. But look, I get that people are saying that we're a little bit spoiled as well. But, you don't get these opportunities that often, is kind of where I'm going with this. Atletico are a very good side. You don't get the chance to absolutely batter them every day of the week.
And that's our job, it's to dissect the performance and work out how we can get better than this. We're lucky enough to be witnessing the best Liverpool squad we will probably all three of us ever see. So, from my situation, I'm looking at this side this season, how we've started this season. There's two problems. There's the fact that we've scored, I believe, 45 goals this season. We could have scored about double that with the amount of chances we've missed. And also defensively, I don't think we've been strong enough either, but that was a lot better tonight, albeit we played, a large proportion of the game against 10 men, and Simeone decided to take off both his strikers with half an hour to go at 2-0 down. But yeah, for me, it's just about making sure this Liverpool side can be better. And like you say, it would have been brilliant if we absolutely hammered Atleti tonight after what happened a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am with it as well. And look, I understand, as I said, everyone's viewpoint on this one. Any final thoughts, gents, before we finish up? And also, Chris, I'll double down and say, what have you got coming up, mate, on LFC Transfer Room over the coming days?
Absolutely. I mean, what my final thoughts are, just on the goal scoring thing, with the top scorers in the Premier League, fourth top scorers in the Champions League. I mean, and we could be so much further forward. I mean, there's so many different things. But on the transfer room, I don't actually remember, to be fair. We've got loads of shit coming up. That's why I've got a bit of job of doing some writing as well. So I'm all very, very, very busy at the moment. But yeah, there will be an interview actually going out tomorrow on my Twitter account with the coach of AFC Sudbury, who I believe the agenda retweeted of the article of it, who are the team from the 8th tier of English football, who are playing in the FA Cup first round on Friday. So please go and check that out. That'd be really appreciated.
Absolutely, yeah. Echo that sentiment. Great to see you doing a bit of writing as well, and great to see these news stories come through. That's what the FA Cup is all about. And Jack, I would ask you what you've got coming up, mate, but I know what you've got coming up because you're going to be here tomorrow night with myself and James Redmond. And I have to say, mate, the dream team, the trio, I've been looking forward to this show all week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to absolutely ripping into James. It's going to be great. Not spoken to him for a while. So yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. And then, big weekend of football. I'm going to try and get down to an FA Cup game myself on Saturday. I think I'm going to go to Wigan, Solly or Moors. And then Sunday, obviously.
Are you going Goldbridge hunting?
I go Goldbridge hunting, yeah. And then on the Sunday, obviously, Liverpool, West Ham, huge game for us. We found ourselves 3 points behind Chelsea now. Chelsea have Burnley at the weekend. West Ham, we know they're a strong side. And I feel like it's important to get 3 points on the board, particularly after that draw. But I think we're strong enough, and I think it'll be 6-0.
Yes.
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a massive thank you to all of you for your continued support of not just Anfield Agenda, but of all Liverpool fan content out there. I think as Liverpool fans, we are probably spoiled with the choice that we have with all the great fan content out there. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Manscaped, as well. Don't forget 20% off and free shipping with our discount code WFM20. Gents, it's pretty much perfect. 12 points from 12 in the Champions League. Jurgen Klopp's men booked their place in the last 16 with 2 games to spare. Massive thank you to Chris. Massive thank you to Jack, to you guys as well. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Gentlemen, I will talk to you soon. Folks, enjoy your evening. And yeah, the Reds are pretty damn good. Talk to you soon. Bye.